Welcome back, friends, to Peace on the Mat, Living Peace Yoga. I am Sean. We have a beautiful practice scheduled for you tonight. However, for content to keep coming your way, make sure that you hit that thumbs up button and make sure you subscribe to the channel. So, without further ado, you know what to do. Get into something comfy, roll out that mat so we can jump in and do some yoga. So friends, in our last video, we talked about comparing ourselves to others and really just how hard that behavior is hard to break. It really is. I too struggle with comparing myself to others. I think others have more than I do, or they have a better YouTube channel than I do, or they have a bigger, better car or house, or better behaving children, you know, all those things that we compare ourselves to others. And I think we can deduce it down to the most minuscule thing. But really, how do we change that mindset and getting away from comparing ourselves to others? We're going to talk about that in tonight's class. So in Matthew 6:26, it says that look at the birds. They don't plant, harvest, or store food in barns, for your heavenly Father feeds them. And aren't you, friend, and me, far more valuable to Him than they are? Meaning all of our needs will be met. So it doesn't matter if we have the nicer car than our neighbor, or the nicer house than our neighbor, or the bigger YouTube channel. But what matters is that God will give us the manna that we need to get through what's right in front of us. So with that, friends, come to simple seated, hands at heart center. Tuck those shoulders down and back. We're going to come to the breath. The inhale and the exhale. About 3 more breaths here. And if you'd like, you can take in a nice inhale and exhale right out your mouth. Letting all of that energy go that no longer serves us. One more deep breath in and exhale. Good. I want you to extend those arms out in front. We're going to take our right hand, we're going to place our right fingers on top of the left fingers. So pulling that left wrist towards the heavens, or pulling the fingers down towards the mat or the ground. Feeling that nice stretch in the left wrist there. Starting to work some parts of the body that we've not necessarily worked previously. Good. And then we're going to take the right hand and do the same. So take those left fingers and pull those right fingers back towards the wrist behind you, or down towards the floor. Feeling that nice stretch in the wrist. Good. And then we're going to do the opposite. So take those hands, extend them out, We're going to take the right hands and we're going to bend those fingers down, bending the fingers towards the underside of your arm. Again, just working that wrist area, feeling that nice stretch there. We're going to do a couple more of these stretches during tonight's class. Good, and then take the left fingers and place them over the right fingers, kind of pressing them back. You don't want to go until you feel pain. You just want to go until you feel a nice gentle stretch in the right wrist. Good, and then let that go and rotate those wrists around in a circular motion. Good. And then we're going to bring our hands back to center. We're going to sit and do some seated cat-cow. So we're going to pull that chest towards the wall in front of you, hands on the fronts of the knees, tilting the head back just a bit as you inhale, and then exhale, press those shoulder blades back towards the wall behind you. Good. And then just rotate through that at your own breath pace. Good. Just warming up the spine here, preparing our bodies for a nice practice. You know, friends, did anybody ask you, how was your day today? Were you in a good mood at work? Were you in a bad mood at work? If you work today, but I'm sure you did some kind of work. Even if you don't go to an official job or position, we all have busy work that needs to be done. Good, and then come back to center. Drop those shoulders down and back. Good. We're going to rotate into all fours, so getting into that tabletop position. So all fours here, remembering wrist under elbow, elbow under shoulder, knees below the hips. And we are going to extend that right arm out in front, reaching towards that ball in front of you. Good, and then we're going to take that right arm and we're going to reach it back behind the very low back. And if the tips of the right hand can reach over to the top of the left thigh. Good, reaching that shoulder nice and open to create more space so you can touch those fingertips to the top of the left thigh. Good, we're going to place that hand back down. We're going to extend that left arm out in front, reaching towards that wall in front of you. Good, and then we're going to take that left hand, we're going to reach it back around the low back, opening up that shoulder so that the tips of the left fingertips can reach the top of the right thigh. Good, friends. Okay, release that and bring it back. We're going to work those wrists a little bit more. So we're going to turn them to the outer edges so that the two insides of the wrist are looking at each other. We're going to take a couple of breaths here. Good. Okay, we're going to do one more twist. So we're actually going to point the fingertips back towards your knees so that now the backs of the wrists are pointing towards the front wall in front of you. I know this is a tough one, friend, so just go as your body says to go. If you can't make it all the way back and that's not in your practice, it's okay. Just go ahead and keep your hands to the side or as far as your body will allow. And we're going to breathe through a couple of times here. This is a tough one. Good. And then one hand at a time, rotate back to a neutral or central position. And then just real quick, we're going to press the back of our right hand down on the mat, just creating a counter stretch to that nice big stretch we did to the wrist. Good. And then place that back to the mat. And then same thing, flip that left hand down, creating an opposite stretch on the left wrist as well. Well, friend, I would like to ask you, how was work today? Or how was your day in general? In case no one has asked, I would like to ask you that. All right, we're going to curl those toes. We're going to press our hips up and back for downward facing dog. Good. Pedal out those feet. This is our first hamstring stretch. So we may need to create some additional space here, and that's okay. Press those hips back towards the wall behind you. Good. We're going to look to the front of the mat. We're going to hop, skip, jump. Forward, fold it out. Good. Still just making space. In those hamstrings, I want you to heel toe your feet to the outer edges of the mat. So now you're in a wide-legged forward fold. I'm going to reach my hands back behind my calves, just using my own body to pull myself a little closer. Good. Doesn't that feel so yummy after a long day? Or maybe it feels so yummy if you're doing this first thing in the morning. Yes. All right. Good. And then we're going to place our hands to the mat and we're going to roll up one vertebrae at a time. Coming up to a standing position, we're going to take a big deep breath in, bring both palms up to the top, bringing them together. And then as we exhale, we're going to sit in a wide-legged chair pose. Good. Extending the bum back towards the mat. Working on some balance here. Really rooting and knitting in the abdomen here, or AKA suck it in, as we stand in our chair pose. Good. And then on your next exhale, forward fold it out. Good. Heel toe those toes. Back into center. We're going to move through our vinyasa. So big deep breath in. Arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold it out. We're going to inhale, halfway lift. Nice flat back. Exhale, forward fold it out. We're going to take those legs back into a plank pose, coming through our chaturanga push-up up dog. Good. And then curl those toes back to downward facing dog. Good. We're going to move through that flow a couple of more times. Go ahead and look to the top of the mat. Walk, hop, skip, jump, whatever you'd like to do. Go ahead and forward fold it out. Again, I'm going to heel toe my feet to the outer edge of the mat, forward folding it out. I'm going to reach my hands back behind both calves, using my body as leverage to create more space in the forward fold. Good. Couple of deep breaths here. Really starting to move now, getting warmed up. Awesome. Good. Take a big deep breath in, hands up overhead. Exhale, come into our wide-legged chair pose. Good. Excelente. Awesome. And then on your next exhale, forward fold it out. We're going to bring both of those feet together. We're going to move through our vinyasa. Big deep breath in, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold it out. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold it out. We're going to extend both feet out into plank, coming down into that chaturanga push-up and up dog. And then we're going to curl those toes. Come back to downward facing dog. Good. Awesome. Pedal out those feet if that feels good. Good. Look to the top of the mat. One more time, folks. Walking to the top of the mat. Forward folding it out. Good. We're going to heel toe one more time to the outer edge of the mat. We're going to come up one vertebrae at a time. Reaching our way up to the top. Good. And then exhale, sitting in our wide-legged chair pose. Good. Awesome. And then on your next exhale, forward fold it out. Good. Heel toe back in. We're going to move through that vinyasa flow one more time. So big deep breath in. Arms up overhead. Exhale. Forward fold it out. Inhale. We're going to halfway lift. Exhale. Forward fold it out. Extend both feet back into plank. Coming down into that chaturanga and up dog. And then curl those toes back to downward facing dog. Good. Place those knees down, bum to the heels. A chance here to come back to the breath, into a child's pose. Hands out in front, if you will, forehead to the mat. So Father is affection mingled with authority. The obedience that God's children show him must be loving obedience. I asked you about your daily work today, friend, because he wants us to enjoy the work he has given you, because it is his desire. Or it can be said this way: enjoy the work God gives you, because it is your Father's desire. I think we have an innate nature to please our parents, right? We want to make them proud. We want them to like what we're doing. And this is just another example of Christ and his Father-like figure that he gives us. If an earthly father watches over his children with constant love and care, how much more does your heavenly Father? That's almost a hard concept to get, friend, that he feeds the birds of the air and the animals of the earth, but yet we are far more valuable than that. We will come back to that one more time before the end of practice. We're going to come back to a tabletop position. We're going to unfold those toes or uncurl those toes, come back into a downward facing dog. Good. We're going to extend the right leg back. We're going to bring it on through for a runner's lunge. Good. We're going to hover both hands on either side of that right foot. If you need to grab a block for assistance, you can have that ready. No worries. It does bring the mat a little closer to you, or you can just place your hands to the mat if that works for you. Good. We're going to place that left knee down, uncurl the toes. We're going to bring our palms up to the top, curling those fingers except the first finger, kind of creating a steeple at the top, and then we're going to do a slight back bend, opening up that left hip flexor. Good. And then we're going to bring both hands to either side of that right foot. We're going to curl the left toes. We're going to come up off that left leg. We're going to bring that left leg up to meet the right and forward fold it out. Good. And then very slowly, we're going to work our way up to a mountain pose. Good. And release all that. Good. And just sink in right now how much the Heavenly Father loves you, how much He has blessed you, how much He has given you. Good. We're going to take a big deep breath in, arms up overhead. We're going to take that right leg and we're going to extend it back, unblading that right foot, coming into a high lunge. But we're going to work our way down into a low lunge. Good. Placing those fingers together, steeple at the top, slight back bend, opening up that right hip flexor. Good. Maybe lean deeper into that left forward knee. Good. Some of these poses are uncomfortable, but they're meant to be uncomfortable. They help our bodies, our mind, and of course, our spirituality as well. Good. Come back up to center. Release those hands. Both hands on either side of that left foot. You can incorporate that block if it feels better for you. Good. We're going to curl the right toes. We're going to come up off of that right knee. We're going to bring that right foot back up to meet the left and forward fold it out. Good. One more hip opener tonight. We're going to take a big deep breath in, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold it out. We're going to inhale to halfway lift. Really flattening that back. Good. Exhale, forward, fold it out. We're going to place our hands to the mat, extend those feet into a plank pose. Good. We're going to place our left hand in the center of the mat. We're going to turn both feet towards the long edge of the mat. And we're going to extend those hips up along with our right hand. Good. For a side plank on the right. Good. And then we're going to do the other side. So come back to that plank pose. Place that right hand in the middle of the mat. Curl those toes to the long edge of the left side of the mat, bringing up the left hand. Really extending those hips up. Awesome. Bring that left hand back to meet the right hand and take the knees to the bum, or knees to the mat, bum to the heels into a nice child's pose. Okay, come on up into all fours. I promised you one more hip opener, so come back into downward facing dog. We're going to extend that right leg back. We're going to bring it on through, placing the right shin behind the hands. We're going to extend that left leg back, uncurling the toes, placing the knee to the mat. You know where we're going. Heading into my favorite pose, pigeon. And then your hands can be wherever it is comfortable for you. So either up top like this, you can utilize a block if you need to. You can come down onto your forearms and place your forehead to the block if that's comfortable. Or if it's in your practice, sliding all the way forward. We're going to stay here for a few breath paces, probably about a minute. This pose does not have to be stationary, so you can move those hips from side to side, creating additional space in that muscle that runs right through the middle of the bum. This is where sciatic pain comes from. The sciatic nerves runs right through there as well. So rocking from side to side just helps create more space in that area to help alleviate the inflammation and the pain. And then while we rock back and forth, again, just think about the message tonight and how much we are worth to Christ and how much He will provide for all of our needs. Good. We're going to come on up from this pose. We're going to curl the left toes. We're going to bring them forward. We're going to come out the same way we came in. So we're going to press that right leg back and up into a three-legged dog. Good. Tilt that right foot open to the left side of the mat, opening up that right hip, counter stretching that big stretch we just gave it. Good. And then place your right foot back to meet the left foot. We're going to do the same on the left side. God blessed us with two sides. Extend that left leg back into a three-legged dog. Bring that leg forward. We're going to lay the shin behind the hands. We're going to lay that right knee down on the mat and extend it back. Uncurl the right toes. Coming down into your expression of pigeon on the left. We will be here for about a minute. Feel free to rock back and forth. Nice and soft. And friend, just being gentle to yourself. I've talked in other videos about negative self-talk. And there's not a place for that on your mat. Here is our solstice, our place of serenity, our peace on the mat, our 71 inches of safety. Good. On your next exhale, we're going to come up onto those hands. We're going to take that right leg and inchworm it forward. And then we're going to come out the same way we came in. So extending that left leg up and out. Tilt that left foot to the right side of the mat. Opening up that left hip. Good. And then bring that left foot back to meet the right. In our final downward facing dog of this practice. Good. Press those hips back. Good. Bring your knees down. Bum to the mat. We're going to extend our legs out long in front of us, but the long edge of the mat. We're going to take in a nice big inhale. Exhale, forward fold it out. Good. And then slide our way back up to center. We're going to extend those legs out into a V formation. Good. We're going to turn those hip points towards the left leg, and we're going to forward fold over the left knee. Take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, deepen that forward fold. I know it feels so yummy on that hamstring, doesn't it? Good. But you're going to sleep so good today, or you're going to be so energized for the things you have left to do today. Good. Turn those hip points towards the right leg. Forward fold over that right leg. Take a nice inhale. And forward fold a little deeper. Good. And come back up to center. We're going to bring those feet into the center. Let those knees fall to the side. We're going to cup our feet with our hands. We're going to drop those shoulders down, sitting for a nice cobbler's pose. About 3 breaths here. Good. All right, we're going to turn those legs back towards the long edge of the mat. Extend it out into staff. So toes pointed up to the heavens. Drop those shoulders back. Take a big deep breath in. Arms up overhead. Good. Exhale, release those hands back to the mat. Good. We're going to bring our bum towards those heels. We're going to rock back in onto our back, bringing those knees in. Rock those hips from side to side, giving the low back a nice little massage. Good. That feels so yummy to me. Good. We're going to place our feet to the mat. We're going to extend the left leg out long. We're going to pull the right leg into the chest. Good. First, we're just going to embrace the stretch. Awesome. Then we're going to take that left hand and we're going to pull the right knee over to the left side of the body. Extending the right arm out. Leaving that right shoulder on the mat if you can. So really embracing the spinal twist that goes with this pose. Good. Couple of breaths here. Good. And then we'll bring both knees back into the chest. Yummy, yummy. And then we're going to extend that right leg out long, leaving the left leg pulled into the chest. Good. Then we're going to take that right hand and we're going to pull the left leg over to the right side of the body. We're going to extend that left arm out, leaving that left shoulder on the mat, if you will. Good. And then we're going to bring our both feet up to a bent position, feet flat to the mat, arms out to the sides. And friends, I find so yummy to do legs up the wall. Actually, when you put them up a wall, it obviously is a little better, a little easier. Maybe someday we will do that for practice for Shavasana. But to put our legs up the wall for Shavasana is just so incredibly yummy. But we're going to just pretend that that wall is embracing our legs as we put those legs up the wall. Good, and then bring those knees into the chest. Rotate those ankles around, giving those feet a nice massage. Rotating those ankles. Good, and then we're going to place our feet to the mat. We're going to extend our legs out long. We're going to tuck our shoulders down and under. We're going to come to that place of our final resting pose, Shavasana. Friend, I want you to tuck your shoulders down and under the spine, letting your head and your feet fall in a neutral position. I like to place my hands on my body, but if it's more comfortable for you to extend them out to the sides, I want you to do what's comfortable for you and what your body is asking for this evening, friend. So whichever way, find a comfortable position for your hands. And then starting at the top of your head and moving to the tips of your toes, I want you to one by one allow rest in each muscle group, allowing those muscles to soften, allowing your body to fall heavy to the earth. Knowing that God has you, knowing that God is taking care of you, knowing that if He feeds the birds and the animals of the earth, how much more important are you? You will not drown, friend. Friend, I want you to stay in Shavasana as long as you feel that you need. But in my commentary regarding this very verse, Matthew 6:26, it says, Jesus taught, an anxiety-free existence through simple trust in God for provisions. Jesus' disciples had abandoned all. Jesus gave them comforting reassurance that God would provide for their needs. Friend, I want you to know that you are so important to Him. He will provide all of your needs. Maybe not all of our wants, mine either. But I know that I know He will provide all of my needs if I trust in Him. Friend, I pray that you find peace on the mat and now peace off of the mat as you go and enjoy your day. And I'll see you here on the mat again next time.